You guys are saying that I got big headed, that I didn't go to your event. What, after your
Yeah,
podcast?
we invited you. We were waiting for the RSVP.
We got ghosted.
We got ghosted.
Yes. So you're lucky we're here today.
Yes.
So
we're here for redemption.
I don't remember getting an
No, we're
invitation.
giving you a chance.
It was an email?
Yes.
It was about 6 emails that went out.
If anybody knows me, they
Or
know.
your assistant didn't
And
see it.
as a real estate broker,
Yes.
that just I was really odd
Where?
to me.
I don't check my emails very often.
Well,
They're
we-
usually screened.
We sent you an email for our invite, so
Yeah.
you got that to come on our show.
You got the invitation to the podcast and
Yes.
you showed up.
Yeah.
But for some reason you didn't get the invitation.
And we were handing out awards left and right.
I saw that, and I was wondering why I didn't get an award.
And the reason why you didn't show up?
well, let me.
we threw it in the trash.
Let me tell you this. Okay, I give out awards, right, to my realtors and some of my associates, right, or some of my affiliates, right. And if they are not able to make it to the ceremony, I still give them their place.
Save it.
No, I still give them the place. I say, you know what? This guy is number one at XYZ, and we're giving him this award. He's not here today, but I still want everybody around to applause.
You know what? And that
Record,
makes sense
and-
because you're such a big agency here. We are not. We were in season 1 on a budget.
Yeah.
So if you accepted the invitation, the award got made.
It wasn't in the budget. It wasn't in the budget.
So we cut it.
I just feel as being one of your top 5 best
top
What?
guests.
No, I think it was like
And-
top 4. We didn't
Top
even
4?
have that many men on our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my interview was like super awesome. Like a lot of people viewed
It was
it, a lot of
pretty
people
good.
commented. I feel like
Well,
He was the only
Yes.
guest that I've got DMs on that were not nice.
yeah, that's
nice.
and that's great.
yeah,
That's
well, we
great,
say
right?
all DMs are good DMs.
Yes, all DMs, yeah.
Good or bad?
All publicity is
All publicity is good publicity. We
Okay.
say
Yes,
all
yes,
DMs are good DMs.
But let me ask you this, right? You got bad DMs about me, right? What did you say? Did you defend me?
I did. I was like, "Oh, really?" He was nice when he came
Yeah.
into our studio. He didn't seem like the guy that was on the clip because Jen knew that when. Oh wait, was it
Yeah,
me that invited him, or did you invite him?
no, I invited you.
Yeah,
And then I
Jen.
think I remembered. I don't know
Because she had heard stuff.
Yeah.
But
No, I didn't hear anything. I didn't know
Oh,
who he
you
was.
didn't,
It was
but
strictly off of
yet,
his clips.
not yet. Okay.
And your
looking at my-
podcast.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I didn't hear anything about you.
Okay.
But on the clips, I was like, I don't know if I like this guy and I want him on the podcast, to be honest. And then I was like, you know what, whatever.
I advocated for you.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to.
But we were pushing like real estate. So we were
Yes.
like, Jen.
Do you want to know something? I do not get any ugly DMs.
Nothing.
Good.
Nobody
No?
sends me ugly DMs or gets upset with me or gets mad at me, but they do run and complain to other people, which is super strange to me. And sometimes some of my realtors will be like, Nate, I mean, I'm how do I defend this? And I said, you don't defend it. Don't defend it. Like
Yeah.
it is. I said it. It is what it is. Needed to be said. But I noticed that the people that have the most or have the I guess. People who get in their feelings and have a lot of opinions about me, they will not tell me to my face.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, tell me. And I've had maybe 1 or 2 people that will tell me, and not ugly, not disrespectful. They'll be like, I just don't agree with this, and that. And I'm like, well, you know what? I respect that, but that's how I feel about it, and whatever. And then also people who disagree with me always say, look, I know what you mean, and you're right in this, but. And I'm like, no, there's no buts.
I think it's because if they don't know you, then they're just judging off
Yes.
of, right? A
Yes,
15-second clip
Yeah.
or whatever,
Exactly.
which we get to. You don't know us
Yeah.
and you can say whatever you want to say. If you personally know us, then you may be like, she's not like that.
Yeah.
If you meet her in person, she's super cool, or he's nice. He's not, he does that just for his podcast, whatever it is. But the people that are usually having things to say, again, is because they haven't met you.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
the one I got hadn't met you.
Yeah.
And also, she didn't want to meet you.
Okay.
But we did advocate for you
Yeah.
because we met you in person. And
you were nice.
You
Yeah.
were nice. We liked the podcast.
I'm nice to everybody.
Still don't like a lot of the clips on some of those. I mean,
We
you
need
do,
more.
if you don't know you come off in a way that is like know-it-all.
But that's on purpose.
Okay.
And also, my editor does a real good job at capturing
capturing
that,
those
that
moments.
side of me.
I don't know who the editor
Yeah.
I
is.
know who the. I
It's
wonder who the
some
editor
guy,
is.
man. Some Dominican that,
Yeah,
that likes,
it is not my fault, guys.
he likes to make me look bad.
Right.
But he, actually, he,
No, but it
he
is
does,
fun. Actually, knowing you makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know how many times I hear, oh, wow, I didn't expect for you to be this way. I thought you were another way. I hear that all the time because people just expect me to walk into like events or walk into parties and just go up to people and start berating them. And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm not like that. I'm not doing these things, you know? Now,
Hey, that's why we're here.
I don't
because
s- I
you're
don't-
not going to treat us that way.
I don't say anything. I don't say anything that is not true. That's one thing. I don't lie.
That's
okay?
good.
Okay.
And I say my opinions, right?
We like an opinion.
Yeah, exactly. My opinions.
That's our opinion.
I say them. Yeah.
We like a girl's opinion.
Say like her opinion.
So his opinion, right, is is said right with such confidence that sometimes it makes people feel a certain way.
Can come off arrogant,
Yes.
but it could also be if you're threatened by it.
Yeah, but I'm very humble. I mean, of all my qualities, humility is like what I'm best known for.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why we're here today.
Yes.
Why we're here today.
Yes, that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
The redemption. You know
Is
what?
somebody
We don't
else in
think
the
that.
studio with us?
I'm sorry, Jovani. I'm sorry.
I'm listening to the
know.
conversation.
Jovani is having fun.
I want to. Okay,
Giovanni,
listen to
wait,
the
hold on.
conversation.
The
I
last
want to hear what
podcast-
he has to
wait,
say.
the last podcast we were at, he is not shy to disagree with you.
No, he's
which I
not.
like.
Yeah, that's
He's
why
not.
when he
Like that
does
about-
disagree with you, that's when I'm like, finally, somebody
I
say
know.
something.
Yeah, he does.
And so I want to hear him today because I
Yes.
want
Go for
to.
it.
How is it this back and forth with y'all when y'all go at it, and sometimes you just don't agree with what he's saying? Because a lot of times I think when you came to our studio, I was defending your daughter about social media and things like that, and was saying that you got to give your kids grace because that they know what they're talking about, and sometimes we're a little old school and we don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This is all her right
yeah.
Yeah.
And so also over here, I think I hear him sometimes disagree with you when you're going on those kind of. So how do you deal with him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
Jovani.
we're both very opinionated, and we do encourage that within the brokerage. So within here, if you have something that you feel strong about, we do encourage you to speak up on it, so we can know who you are and what you stand on, and how we can maneuver around that. So we've never been shy about disagreeing at all. If anything, it helps us grow, builds a thicker skin. If you can deal with that in house with us, then whenever we send you out there to negotiate your deals, they won't know what to expect.
For sure.
So it's just encouraged here, to be honest.
That's what connected me and Giovanni, because last time we disagreed with you on something, but we agreed on something that last time.
What was it? I can't remember.
I don't
now.
remember what it was, but I was like, yeah.
I'm interested to
Giovanni-
know what conversation you guys had on your podcast, because it seems very interesting. Like
It was
what
a
were
lot
the
of
clips?
stuff. We
It-
talked
we-
a lot. We
we
talked
were-
about. We went way back.
Yeah, we were
when he
talking
first
about-
started.
yeah,
So he was talking about he came from what, Clear Lake?
Yeah,
Or
I lived in League
Webster,
City,
League
League
City?
City, and
Yeah.
we talked a lot.
We
I mean,
talked a lot about stuff.
I think honestly, when I
It
went,
was so interesting. I don't remember.
when I when I went
was
into
so
that,
deep.
I went into that podcast. They both were ready to throw down with me. I think.
Oh yeah, we had the
we
boxing
were.
gloves
they
on.
were.
We had
They
had
were.
the mentality.
We
of,
weren't sure
who is this
how
guy?
you were
Yes.
gonna come.
Yes.
We weren't
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like,
And
I
he
was
came
like,
in nervous.
I was like, no, I was not.
Okay,
nervous. I
he was
nervous.
trembling. He
I
was
You were
trembling.
That is
nervous.
absolutely not true. And so I brought my daughter so they wouldn't jump me because
That's
I
true.
said,
That's funny.
I
That's
said,
true.
I said this is. I think I even talked to you in Florida about it. I said I think this is an ambush, bro. I said I don't know.
You did say that.
yeah.
I'm not sure if I should
Yeah,
come.
but yeah. So they when I went in there, they were like ready for me to say something to pounce on me. But no, I mean they were actually agreeing with me on some
Yes,
things. They were
we
like,
agreed
oh, yeah,
on
okay,
everything,
Yeah, this
yeah.
guy makes sense.
Well,
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
think you held back though a little bit.
Yeah.
You did. It wasn't like your podcast where you just go all in. You were.
That's
giving,
what we
yeah.
wanted. That's what we expected.
I-
we wanted more DMs than what we got. We
It was-
wanted
it was
to.
low. The
we wanted
DMs,
to
yeah.
be flooded with DMs.
Look, pick a topic, a controversial topic.
Okay.
Invite me to your podcast, and I will blow up.
Let's do that right
I'll
now.
blow up
Well,
your-
Yeah, don't save it. He's like, don't
here.
save it.
Who do you
We're
want to talk
already-
about? You want to talk about BOA? You want to talk about who do you want to talk about?
Like,
Wait,
we're
we
already-
can't be
wait,
real estate.
so
We
wait,
can't be
I
real
still
estate today.
I still don't understand what the topic is today. We're just going.
yeah, we were just having a conversation.
we're just
so,
having a conversation.
so now I want to introduce you guys, right? We do have
Sorry.
our
go ahead.
a guest who also hosts their own podcast. I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce your podcast, and then we can decide whether we'll talk about the topic that I had on hand, or if y'all want to let loose, like how Nate was saying, since we're already here, y'all can have that conversation now. So I'll leave that up to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Nushin, and this is Jen, and we're the host of Her Opinion Show. And we do have a podcast. We have our own network. It's Her Media Network, which is all about women. And yes, we did have Nate on our podcast in our first season, which was funny because I don't think we were thinking of having much men on, but we did. And it worked out well. And it was okay.
And it was picked because we didn't just let
anybody walk
in. But we felt like you.
Oh, but wait. We didn't talk about real estate again after that.
We didn't talk about real estate at all.
No. So after that show.
Yeah, after that show, it was like, well, I invited Flor. She came to
just without me. Because honestly, I don't care to talk about real estate, even though it's an everyday conversation.
Did you know that she got a real estate license at some point in her life?
I didn't know that. No.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I have it. It's just
it's an active. It's out there in the air, cyberspace.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick. There's actually because we have an office in McAllen, Texas, right? RGV RGV stands for Rio Grande Valley, right? And there is a person down there who is very influential, right? Very well known, big on this whole woman empowerment thing, right? That I'm so against, right? And and she has an organization called She Is RGV, right? And it's really big, and she has actually invited me as a guest speaker, and I will be the first male to be a guest speaker on her panel.
Congratulations.
Wait, but are you starting with the I'm so against this?
I am. No. Well, listen. I had the same conversation with her that I have with anybody else about all this, just women and women this and women that and women own and stuff like that. I always say when you because my company is everybody, women, men.
We're
there may be a misconception about us.
No,
because we are about women empowerment, but we completely respect men. I'm married.
Yeah, and I'm not a lesbian here, so let's get it straight. But my best friend is a lesbian. But I feel like we just have a platform to put more women on.
Yeah,
and so, but we're all about men. Yeah. We respect men. We need men.
We love their opinion.
I'm a mom of a son.
Me too. I have 3 boys. So
whatever you need to feel better and comfortable, we love men.
She said, no, I love men. I'm not
we love men. It's empowerment women, but we love men too.
But the thing is this, right? I just don't think that you need that, right? And one, and I've had this conversation numerous times, and if you watch my podcast, right, you hear that I say that. I was raised by a single mother. My mom is a very strong woman to this day. She's headstrong. Jovani the same. His mother, headstrong,
And I was a single mom.
And so the thing is this, it just goes down to this thing where whenever you're like, whenever you get women that are like, hey, let's do this, women, you kind of
feel left out.
No, not at all. Because even you yourselves, right? You guys are this whole woman, her opinion and stuff like that, right? You still needed me to make your show,
for sure,
relevant.
Yeah. So we were wanting you to come up with subjects that made it more relevant.
I almost threw up.
I'm trying to figure out.
Where is this going?
I'm trying to figure out which route I'm going to take because it's either I can let loose or I need to.
I kind of threw up in my mouth.
The bad thing is this is the one thing that me and Nate do not disagree on.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I get what you're saying, and I'm all about we need strong men.
Yes.
Women need men. We need both of each other to coexist. And we are all about that. If you bring in his opinion, we're going to support it because men should support women and women should support men.
Yes.
But what we're doing is just putting a platform out there so we can show more women doing their thing because we come from a man-dominated world. It is what it is. Yeah. And women don't get to voice their opinions as much as they should. And let me just say, because I come from that where I work with my father, and a lot of times I don't get to voice my opinion in that situation. So I know what that feels like.
For sure. sure.
And but it doesn't mean that means that we're taking away from, you know, the husband and wife and how the value core of a family should be. I get that. But in today's generation and where we're at, everything is niched down. And if you don't own a niche and you don't run with where you can get your foot in the door, you may be left behind. So that's just kind of where we're at, and we are women, so it makes sense for us.
But you've spoken about your father a lot, right? And what you do now, or who you are now, comes from.
Oh, of course.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That this mouth comes
Oh
from.
yeah.
So men,
Even
so-
me,
so men-
like I'm more like my dad than I am my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So men like that are needed.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And
No one
that's
says
why-
they're
and
We
not.
that's why
are
my-
100%.
Yeah,
both-
no.
Yeah, both
If
of-
that is not, just to put that on camera here, we're pro men.
We're pro men.
We're pro men.
We
And
need a man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And if you're not, that's okay.
Yeah.
We love you too. But at the end of the day, 100%, I'm a daddy's girl. Well, I mean, we
Kinda,
fight.
yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, because you're the same. You
Yeah,
have the same
we're
mentality.
exactly the
We're
same.
we're both headstrong. I mean, that's where I got who I am. My dad, yes, my mom had that softer side of me, but being who I am, an entrepreneur and trying to make it in this world, came from my dad.
Yeah.
You know, so I highly respect men, and I'm married, so, and I highly respect my husband because he has been my other half. So for sure, we may be her opinion, but we
But
respect
you know
his
where I
opinion.
think things might have changed, and I don't know how you were raised or how I know how you were raised. My mom was a single parent and had to work. My dad was not in the picture. He was, I visited him on the weekends. He was doing his thing. My mom had to carry most of the weight, and there was never like, you know, oh, I did this, I did that. She didn't get recognition for any of that. You're supposed to do what you do.
That was my mom.
And my thing is that everything I do today also is because of my mom, because I watched her. So me being a single parent and doing those things, I didn't have to work as hard as she did. She really had to work. But I'm getting recognitions today for the things that I'm doing that I wish my mom could have got. You know, so it is certain things that I feel like women deserve. Yes, we do. And the men do too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but for a long time, women were housewives. You know what I'm saying? And the husband, maybe it was like, good job with the kids. You know what I'm saying? But now you got women raising kids and working. So, you know, Nate, maybe just change your perspective on it.
I mean, my perspective, right, or my opinion, right,
Opinion.
is that, you know, like you just said right now, my mother. I mean, she got no accolades, she got no prizes. Nobody's, you know, one thing that never came out of my mom is, oh, I'm a single mom. Oh, I'm an independent woman. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. She just did what she had to do, and that's what it is. And I always say this, and you know, you could, you know, it's my opinion, right? You know, the way a man turns out has a lot to do with the mother. The mother is how a son will turn out. They need their father as an example, but they're gonna turn out the way their mother trains them and teaches them. You know, and same with your daughters, right? Your daughter needs their mother as an example, but they're gonna come out however, and they're gonna learn how to be treated by their father and how to deal with men by their father.
Right.
Exactly.
You know. And so that's why, you know, you get both of the best worlds, right? And
Yeah.
and you know, and Jovani always talks about that, you know, the nuclear family and stuff like that, right? And so the thing is this, you know, I understand what you're saying, right? You're saying, hey, you know what, we wanna give a platform for women so we can showcase this, right? You know, like yesterday, you know, I did a small video with my wife's aunt, right? And she's the one that got me into sales, and you know, I think it's really important. She, you know, nobody knows really who she is, right? She don't have Instagram, she doesn't have Facebook, nobody, you know, she's not you know, she doesn't have an organization, right? So I always say, you know, if you're gonna have an organization, right? And this is also a conversation that I have with you know, she is, right, with with Priscilla, right, in the Valley in RGV, right? I have this conversation and I say, hey, look, if you're gonna have an organization, right, then you have a responsibility as a woman's organization, right, to portray that message and not just give a platform to anybody that just wants to bash men or has been having bad relationships or has been,
yeah,
you know.
but I think that's a thing
that's
like
a whole other
yeah,
organization.
that's a
They need
whole
to freaking go
situation.
get over with, you know?
I think that's a big difference. I mean, we're not doing that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and also too, we have a nonprofit. We're working towards helping women that are not even women, men, kids, whatever it is that have gone through domestic violence.
Yeah.
These are things that like we've gone through, we've lived, and we don't speak on because we don't have a voice. And so it takes platforms like these to have a voice. And so, I mean, I think men are a little threatened sometimes by it, and it sucks, but it is what it is. We have to fight. A lot of women aren't speaking up. A lot of women aren't taking their place. We're those kids that have grown up and watched this abuse in families, and you don't talk about it. What happens is our family stays there. So we need these organizations. We need these platforms. And I mean, like I said, we're open to men coming on. We kid, we have fun. But I come from a strong father. I'm my son. He'll be a strong man. And it's just, I don't think we have to overly continuously talk about that. You know what I mean?
And one of the reasons why we have the platform is to give the person that doesn't have 1 million followers a platform and to give them a voice. Because a lot of them have, they may be humble. They may not have all of those followers like you're on or whatever, but at least they have a message to give to that person that's starting out.
Right.
And that's the kind of platform that we want to give. That's what her opinion is about.
And I agree 100% with what you said, right? You want to have this platform for everybody, for the people with the little voice, right? And what you were saying earlier, but at the same time, it's kind of it kind of goes the same way how you're saying, right? Like people look at my clips and they think I'm just like this jerk, right?
Right.
I've had people DM me and say, "Oh man, it needed to be said. These so and
Yeah,
so's
of
or this and that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, no. That's not what I was trying to say, bro. That's not what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Or I have people that want to come on the podcast and talk about bashing this and that, and I'm like, no, that's not what we do here.
Right.
So I think too, in the same, I guess on your side, right? You guys are saying some great things, right? And sometimes somebody can catch a clip of something that you say, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm an independent, and I could do this, and I could do that, and I don't need to do this. I can have 100 baby daddies, whatever." And it's just like, all right, no, that's not what we're portraying here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, you're taking our show to another level. We
100
are
baby daddies.
entertained.
We
And
haven't
don't
had one like that.
But you know what? Let's
that
be
would have
clear.
been an interesting podcast.
But let's
there.
be clear. We have fun too. We're entertainment.
No, yes,
This is
definitely,
entertainment
definitely.
at the end of the day. We're
Definitely.
looking to get sponsors. We're looking to get a platform for entertainment as well.
I will
so
sponsor.
not okay.
Hey, and also women's subjects.
What did he say?
I'll sponsor.
Wait, hold on. You sponsor?
What did he say?
I will sponsor.
Can
We're
I get it
looking for
louder for
sponsors
the
here.
people in the
Hey,
back?
I may have a real estate firm, but we're open to anybody sponsoring.
But I don't. So I already told Jen. We're all about men empowerment too.
Okay. Why don't we do a his voice and we'll
Oh,
collaborate.
here he goes.
Oh,
Demanding already.
We have a Her Women's Network. And
Yeah.
under that, we're bringing other people that want to start a podcast that may not, they want to be under us. That,
Well,
for
in the
them to have
beginning,
in
we
the
were
beginning,
looking for the him or the his.
the his. Yeah,
to the
we
her.
haven't had the his.
We
to
haven't
the
found
her.
him yet.
We haven't found him yet.
I mean, I could definitely.
You
We
wanna
can
try
let you
out?
audition.
I
Hey,
can
you want to
audition.
try out?
Yeah. You know who I think would be a great addition to that?
Jovani?
Jovani Frank.
For sure.
We haven't heard him say much.
He's being super
Giovanni's
quiet.
being
Well, all I
very
know-
gentleman.
all I
He's
know,
a
if he
gentleman.
doesn't talk much,
No,
that's
no,
not gonna
he's
work.
being a gentleman because he lets
Yes.
everybody
All right, it's
talk.
his turn.
All right.
It's
Go
his
for it,
turn.
Giovanni.
All right,
Ask us
Giovanni.
something.
Well, I don't have much experience in this area because I am single and I don't have kids.
Giovanni's single,
and I've
never been
I'm
married.
single
So-
too.
But
so
it
you know
doesn't
what?
matter.
It's,
I
I'm
don't
not
have much
married.
experience in
Hold on,
this.
you've dated. You probably have some kind of story here and there to tell.
Yes. Well, tell us about these women.
Tell us.
Why don't you tell them? Oh, hold on. Why don't you tell them about your perfect woman that you're
Okay.
that you're looking for?
There you go.
I can see the
We
sarcasm.
need
This
to
is great.
see.
No, this is
Okay,
great. This
let's
is great.
hear
I wanna-
it.
Go
All
ahead.
right, let's hear it.
What is your perfect woman?
Okay, so just to bring it back full circle, right? Have you guys seen like Tesla? They're coming out with all different kind of things, right? Right now they have the robot dogs that are just running across. Well, they just announced that they're gonna have a robot, like an actual robot, right? This is where the future is going, like the next 5 or 10 years. And I mean, pretty much that is my perfect woman. Just there, quiet, cooks and cleans. That's what I like.
I'm with you.
Hold on.
That's what I like.
You know what's
It's a
really
robot.
funny?
So
We were
It's a robot
talking
that's
about.
sentient. Yeah,
I'm with
it's a
you.
robot
Hold
that's
on, we were
sentient.
Because
talking
these
about we were talking about this conversation because my birthday's coming up, and I told Nushin, I was like, I don't have very many friends.
She
Probably
doesn't.
my husband, Nushin, and then this other girl that's my best friend, and ChatGPT. That's my best.
No,
that's my other
ChatGPT is my
chat.
husband right
That's
now.
That's my
best
husband.
friend.
That's yeah.
They
I
tell
use
me.
ChatGPT, but I don't talk to ChatGPT.
No,
No,
you,
but you
oh, I
Are you
can't
talk
having
to
talk.
conversation? That's different.
So me
Well,
and
you
Chat,
can have a
you
conversation.
can get deep with Chat. So I told Chat one day we were on there because you can put it on the voice. And I told Chad, I was like, it was one of the bad storms or whatever. And I was getting in conspiracy and I was talking to my chat and I was like, what is going on? Everybody's cable's out. I don't get it. Is this a conspiracy? And Chat was like, no, this is not a conspiracy. This is probably because of the weather. Da, da, da. But if you see blacked out vans in the front of your house, maybe you should rethink it and run. I was
That's
like,
funny.
hello? Are you serious? What are you talking about? Haha, I'm just being funny. So Chat can get very deep with you.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever had like ask questions like that.
It molds to you.
People can make pictures too by asking for it.
Yeah.
I've seen some.
You can make a
weird
video
Oh,
now.
for sure.
You can make a video now.
So if I were to have a party, it would probably be my husband, my kids,
And a fake
Yushin,
chat.
my best friend Perla,
And then my chat
and
can come.
ChatGPT,
And ChatGPT.
and your chat.
Well,
and
mine
your
is Chad.
ChatGPT.
Mine is Chad.
Chad.
Chad. But yeah, I agree with him because, and this is why they're conditioning you to be able. So by the time that comes, everybody's going to be very comfortable with it. I mean, I had some married guy friends that I went to high school with, and we're at a dinner, and they said, "Is it considered cheating if it's a robot brothel and you get freaky with a robot?" And I was like, first of all, I was thinking in my head, well, is it? Then I thought, why are these idiots even asking this question?
It's just humanity. That's where it always ends up.
And so we got into a deep ass, like back and forth over, would it be? Do I have to even tell my wife? It's a robot. But I'm like, but if you're not coming home
It's an emotional
Tuesday, Thursday.
Why would you tell your wife, don't disturb her peace?
I think it would be an emotional affair.
But some women are like, go.
I don't know.
Some women are like,
I
go.
think I would have a problem with it.
I saw a very disturbing movie with I think it was Joaquin Phoenix, and I think it was called Her, and it was
Really?
him that
The robot?
He fell in love with an operating system on his phone.
Oh,
And I said, what did I just watch? I was
And
like,
you watched it
wow.
all the way
Future
through?
I did. It
It's
was
the
weird.
future.
he's a good actor, though.
Yeah. I mean, that could really distort a lot of
Relationships.
relationship. Yeah, peace,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
there's people that already have
But was it peace,
parasocial relationships where they watch podcasters and they feel like they know them. Like if I was to see Joe Rogan on the street, I'd feel like, oh, that's my friend.
And
'Cause
a
I watch
stalker?
his-
Yeah.
because I watch his stuff
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, so that's already.
Gary
it's
Vee.
already there. It's the
same thing with Nate.
Society.
They got some with Nate.
Some people think they know you.
Some people think,
Yeah.
that, and that's true. People
Yeah.
think they know me, but they just, and you know
Yeah.
what? Somebody actually, somebody that I kind of know, she said pretty much like, hey, I mean, that's just such a bad image that you put online or whatever, is, and I said, it's just a persona, and it's just funny stuff, and she's like, well, you shouldn't do that, then you're being fake, you're fraud or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I said, that's a lot to,
I
it's a lot
mean-
to digest. I'm like,
I
don't
mean,
know.
I think that's what you're comfortable with. Is it your character? Is it like, and I mean, I don't mean, is it your everyday character, but is it literally your acting character? Because not every podcast is a genuine, you know what I mean? Like,
Heartfelt
form of
or-
that
yeah, yeah,
person.
yeah.
So it just depends on what you're going with. Because like for Jen, when we first started podcasting, she needed like 5 of those tequilas before she got
Literally,
loose.
Really?
I couldn't even talk.
So that might have been
even with
somebody saying that's not her.
Even whenever you came on, I was like, like stuttering. Well, now you see me, I'm different, and I'm gonna be under the Her Network. We're doing a real estate podcast.
That's
So
awesome.
you hear that?
Yep.
So maybe Nate will be on.
I would
one of my
def- I-
first
I would-
ones.
I would
one of
definitely
my
be
first
on.
ones. And it's not gonna. It's gonna be under her.
And
but
I'll be
still-
producing.
Yes, but it'll be both. Men, women, everything. There's not gonna be any kind of favorites.
You can come on to that one because
Giovanni-
it's not all about
Giovanni
women
will come on.
independence.
Yeah.
I gotta hear Jovani by
Independent
himself.
women.
Giovanni got us to come on by himself and give his own opinion because I agreed a lot with Giovanni.
Yeah.
When I hear him, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
Giovanni, I agree. Not that I don't agree with you, but I'm just saying.
I love independent women.
Oh yeah.
Because they're the most vulnerable and they're easier to deal with.
Well, you know
That
what?
is
I'm
true.
going to tell you who.
They're tired. They're
They're
tired.
tired.
They're tired. It's easy.
No.
You just got to rub their
This
head a
is the
little
other
bit.
type of Nate.
They
This
break
This is
down.
the other
Yeah,
type
feed
of
'em,
Nate
yeah.
coming
You
out.
feed them,
No.
you give them drinks, and
Not
Not true. Not true. Not true at all. But I
We
will
have friends
say,
like that, though.
I will say my dad made me like this because at the end of the day, when there was stuff in our gym and stuff, he'd be like, I'm like, you gonna call someone to fix that? No, you can. And I'm like, well, shit, you're the problem. I'm the reason why I am, because now I'm like, I'll tell Jen, we got some chairs the other day. Remember those chairs? And Jen was like, I'm not putting these together.
I'm not.
And in my head, I thought, well, if I had those chairs, I'd put them together. I don't give a damn.
I mean, I would put them
But-
together, but if I can have somebody else put them together,
But
why not?
here's somebody saying that with a husband and 3 boys, 3 sons.
Well, I would get one of the kids to put
And
them
my
together.
point is that's the role that I take.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person that's going to be like, if you ain't going to fucking do it, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So I come off a lot more when it comes to that. And my dad built me that way. So if he's a man and he's going to get mad, he can get mad because he built that character. He built
your dad is Middle Eastern, right?
Persian, yes.
Persian, yes. Okay, so yeah.
Big difference than my mom is Mexican.
Yeah.
Which two different so I think Persian and Mexican moms are similar, but dads are not. So Persian dads, it's kind of like you need to take care of yourself. You need to do it up. They still want a man to marry you to take you off their hands. But at the end of the day, a Hispanic dad is going to baby you and nurture you.
I don't know. My dad
does
my dad's
not.
Colombian.
Well,
He don't-
I said Mexican dad.
Mexican dad.
Yeah.
But a Mexican dad is going to baby you and
Yeah,
nurture you. I don't get that from my Persian side.
never got it from my
I
dad.
baby my daughters.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
get your stuff together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
but
guys,
because you're an
this was
entrepreneur.
we do have a hard out today.
sorry.
So this was great. We got to introduce her opinion as a collective to the HBR audience. So it's pretty awesome. You'll be seeing us, I guess, jump on the platforms. You know, they'll be on here, we'll be on theirs, which would be pretty awesome. So
When we open the studio, definitely.
Oh, yeah, that would be- that'd be dope.
do
When is it?
And then when
Is
Vick is in, Vick also, man, he's like, we could definitely get into a good conversation. Another thing too, we started doing podcasts. I don't want to talk about it, but we do a podcast after dark, right? And our podcast after dark is just like, we're drinking, we're
We're gonna
hanging
need
out.
Uber provided
I
for
know.
us for that.
Sometimes
Hotel stay.
I know.
sometimes we can't air some of those
Yeah.
clips. Podcasts, we just have to clip it.
Yeah.
you post it at your own discretion.
Yeah, you ever seen that show, Drunken History?
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Our last one, we did Drunken History, and Jovani did great. He was explaining the
for
Battle of
real?
San Jacinto.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't even know
Dang.
that I knew that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess
What
I
did
pulled
you
it
do?
out of
I
nowhere.
I would have to research that, and then after research, I'd probably forget.
Yeah.
That's what kind of what happened.
Yeah. That's
I tapped
yeah.
into my American spirit, and I remember got hits from the ancestors.
There you go.
it
But
was
yeah,
the alcohol.
but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys exit out, and then looking forward to getting on your podcast one of these
Sorry,
days.
Giovanni, we talked over you. But you
Oh,
know
no,
what?
no, it's
We're
fine.
like I said, we're gonna have a podcast. You're gonna have to come on. You're gonna come on.
I'm ready.
Yes.
And
I mean,
and whoever DMs you about it, actually, I'll do a whole announcement.
Well, you know
wait,
what?
hold on.
And
So
they can
wait a
join.
minute.
Wait,
he said
Nate,
he's
we
gonna
do have a
sponsor.
hard out.
Okay.
Wait, he said he
Sorry.
sponsors.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry.
You know what?
You can
Let's
do
talk
whatever
about
you
that.
want, sponsor.
So we're gonna do. I mean, we haven't, with the name, but anyways. So on mine, if you come on with a very controversial issue, I think that's gonna be really good. I want the more bad DMs
You want
I
the
get.
smoke?
I
Okay,
know.
let's
I
do
know.
it.
I
All
want
right.
all
Bye,
of it.
Jen.
I'm gonna be canceled before I'm even on.
Very good.
All right. So yeah, let everybody know where they can find you again, where they can find your podcast, and individually.
Everything is at Her Opinion Show. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything. Her Opinion Show. HerOpinionShow.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Nate, where can I find you?
You can find me at Better Call Nate on all my social media outlets.
You can find. Go ahead.
Oh, Jen Text the Broker. Find me on all the platforms.
Alrighty. And you can find me here every week at the HBR podcast and on Instagram as Jovani_Frank. Until next time.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.